Right. Hi everyone. So as you are enjoying your long weekend, if you watch this during the weekend, but if you watch this after the Hari Raya, then it means that the long weekend ended. So in this video, what you are going to watch is number one, the briefing on your oral presentations. So that's one. Number two, what are the things that a person has to know on oral presentation. Okay. Now, on the knowledge or on the information of oral presentation, it is not only relevant to your English course or English subject. This oral presentation is also meaningful and useful for you to apply and to practice in any kind of presentation that you have to present or that you have to do in front of your professors, in front of your other lecturers. Okay, so again, in case you don't realize this, some of the knowledge that you gain from your English class is for is useful. Sorry, okay, it's useful for any other courses that you are taking that you are taking during your university years. Yeah, hence the reason why English it's more of like hence the reason why your English course or your English subject is more of skills based, not so much of language proficiency. Why? We're talking about language proficiency. We're talking about, you need to learn um you need to learn about, all the grammar, sentence structure and whatnot. Okay? Okay. Uh, Next. Okay. Now let me share the screen. Okay, first thing first, I would like to start this video with the briefing. Okay. So again, in case you do not know where can you find your assessment brief, it's in your e-learning, right? Make sure you log into your e-learning and check it out for you. Okay, no, I don't like this. I want to be in front of the presentation. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Now, oh, anyway, I realized that Webex has like some new features. Okay, anyway, never mind. Okay. Now, this is an assignment brief of your oral presentation. I don't have any intention to read everything or every details, but I would only highlight the important parts, okay, from your assignment brief. Okay, so number one, obviously, some of the, in total, I have three classes of UHLB 21-22. So out of the two classes, chose the boring PowerPoint slides. Only one wanted to have different thing, which is poster. Okay, so regardless what your visual aid is, you need to have your visual aids during your presentation. Remember, the word is visual aids, meaning aids is like assistance, meaning it's like helping, it's just a help. You are not going to rely 100% of you cannot rely 100% your presentation with just reading your visual aid. If you do that, meaning if you just reading 100% for your visual aids, there's there's no explanation on your own, then you have to understand I will definitely give you a very low marks. Low marks. Yeah. Number two, because remember you are presenting a report. So report means it's a formal thing. Report means it's a serious thing. Hence the reason why you have to dress properly. Okay, slippers are not accepted. Um, I don't think I would want to accept sandals also. I would only restrict students to wear for footwear shoes. Okay. What about the attire? Well, I would say no t-shirts, right? Let's say no t-shirts. But I wouldn't want shirt also. Okay, can we agree to this? I want you to wear, okay, let's okay, this is the attire that I want you to wear in during your presentation. Business I want a casual business. I want a casual business attire. Okay, I want a casual business attire. If you do not know what does that mean, find out, right? Google things up. Okay, or ask ChatGPT. I want business casual. I want business casual attire for your presentation. Previously, previously I forced the students to wear shirts and slacks. So I guess like it's not really comfortable, I guess. So for this semester, right? Business casual. Okay? Business casual. No slippers. Sneakers, shoes, all your new kits, whatever it is. Okay. So the content of your presentation the content of your presentation should have introduction, should have the body, and should have the conclusion, of course. And then, like I said, you have the visual aid supposed to be there. It's for me it's for me to look at, and it's for you to refer, not to read and not to rely. Okay. So as much as possible, okay, frankly, I don't want you to read anything. Meaning, if you have your flashcards with you, or if you have scripts with you, it's just with you, right? You don't read from it. Frankly, I would want that. Frankly, that is the ideal presentation. But I know it's not easy to some of you. So can we meet halfway? You don't rely so much with your script or your flashcards, but you try as much as possible to just explain. Now, okay, this is how I see things. Okay. You have been doing this since day one you joined my class, meaning I have forced you, I have required you, I have asked you to read on these things. And then after like week 10, okay, sorry, before week 10, you have started with your group discussion. So basically, most of the contents are the things that you have known already. So it's just now the matter of you presenting, what have you arranged, what have you organized, what have you refined and revised. So now is the presentation part. Now, okay, let's take presentation is the episode, or is the stage, or is the phase where you have to convince me, Miss, whatever that we have is a problem, and this is the possible solutions to the problem. Ah, so that is what your presentation supposed to mean. Okay, so that is all about. So hence the reason why I said earlier, if you really understood inside and outside of your problem, of your report, I have the understanding, and I believe you can definitely present without having to refer to any notes. Huh. That's why again I want to repeat the keyword understanding. So that's the thing. Okay, now the procedures, I think I have shared with you the arrangement of the presentation. So please let me know if there is any problem. Oh yeah, you can only excuse yourself from the scheduled presentation if you have a definitely valid and verified reason. You know, if you are just attending ceremonies, or you cannot come because it's just personal reasons, yeah, zero is absolutely for you. Okay? Right. Now, so yeah, the assignment is 50%. Presentation must be the presentation will be in week 15, which is for you. Two of the classes will be on the 23rd June, and one of the classes, the FKE people, will be on the 24th June. Now, okay, so that is the compile assessment brief. Okay, and then okay, can you know what are the rubrics? Can you know what are the things that you are going to be assessed on? Okay, so remember that in your uh, group WhatsApp group description, there's like a link to Marksheet, right? Okay, so now if you are checking that right now while watching my video, you are checking the link to the Marksheet. Okay, take a look at the tab that label as oral presentation, and then you would realize that in the Marksheet of that oral presentation, you would have the rubric already, what you are going to be assessed on. Okay, but let's say you are curious, you are so lazy to check on your own. Okay, I am going to show you. This is an example of how um how it looks like. Okay, I'm just going to randomly, all right, just so happen I click on the FKE. So this is, okay, so this is the link, right? Yeah, so you're going to be assessed on content and organization, language features, delivery, visual aids. Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot to. Okay. Right now, oh yeah, I forgot. Okay, for oral presentation, your assessment will be individual, meaning if you give your best presentation ever, chances for you to get new marks is high. But if your um, team members or team member does not or do not present it very well, so only their marks, only his or her marks going to be low. Okay, it will not affect your mark. However, at the end of the day, it's a teamwork, remember? It's a teamwork. So it's also I would say it's also your duty and your responsibility to make sure your team members give a decent, I would say, yeah, a decent or a good or a nice presentation, right? Now, remember, guys, whatever that you do, okay, it's not for me. I am going to assess you with as how you performed, but at the end of the day, the big bulk of the receiving ends or the big bulk of the benefits will be for you. Okay, remember, I don't need the marks. You need the marks. You need the skills. You need to be familiar with the presentation because you know presentation will not end when you receive your school, your degree school. It will not end there. During when you join the workforce later, there will be many times that you are asked to present probably on behalf of your bosses, or probably because you need to present um of your department or the representative or whatever. Okay, so right, I know, some of you say, "Alah, Mi is always nagging lah. Mi suka nag lah. Mi suka bebel lah." The thing is, the part that I nag is not so much of nagging. The part that I nag is trying to make you realize that things that you don't see yet. I'm not saying that you're not going to see that. You are not seeing that yet. So I'm trying to introduce and make you familiar with how things work out there. I know most of you have worked part time. you know. But working part-time, if you're just doing just Grab riding, if you are, you know, joining the F&B industries, okay lah, then, you know, you have some sort of idea. But that is just for what, 3 months, you know. It's not going to be the same when you are working and you are aiming to climb up the ladder. That will be different. Okay. And the fact that, you know, you will need to be with that colleagues of yours more than 8 hours per week. You know, the ideal would be like 40 hours per week, right? So yeah, imagine you have to deal, and it's not only one colleague, you could have like 10 colleagues at a time, you know, that kind of thing. Okay? So yes, okay. Now let's go with the theory part. Okay. So other than the briefing part, we are going to discuss on the theory part for oral presentation. Okay. Again, like I said, oh alamak, I forgot to choose. Again, like I said, you know, this oral presentation theory and skills and knowledge that I am sharing with you today is not only relevant for your English course, English programs, right? It's will be definitely useful to be applied, to be executed, to be practiced in any courses that require or requires you to do a presentation. Okay? Right, let's go. Now, what makes, you know, what makes a good presentation? I believe everybody really wants to be good at presentation, you know, not only probably for you, probably, you know, to better up your skills, right? But what makes a good presentation, you know? Now, you know, okay, now let's use the same concept, but if no, same concept, different example or different situation. What makes a good guy? You know, what makes a good guy? What makes a good man? To me, the definition of a good guy would be number one, if he can, you know, if he can afford, you know, oh, sorry, joke. Okay. What makes a good man for me in my definition? Okay, a good man is a person that only do good to himself or herself. Okay, himself like man can. Okay, himself. He can also do good to the people around him. So that is a good man. Okay, good man. I say good man, not handsome man. Okay, but same concept, different situation. Okay, what do I mean? Okay, what should okay, salah. Okay, now let me rephrase. Okay, how does a handsome man look to me? Yeah. I don't have the answer. Why? Because I don't go for handsome guy. But the only thing that I really want in a guy, that guy has to be tall. Uh, we're talking about tall like at least 172, 175 centimeter above. Uh, so yes, because I'm a very short person. You know that I'm short. You've seen me for the past at least 9 weeks, you know, because the first 4 weeks, the first 5 weeks, we were online, and then 4 weeks, yeah, 4 weeks after that, we have like face to face. So you know I'm short. So that's why I really want the partner will be tall. Okay, now enough of that. Okay. Oh yeah, another important thing. Um, what makes a good man or what makes a man good to me, he can provide. So in other words, he has to be rich. It's not necessarily rich, he has to know how to earn money. Now sometimes if you born rich but you do not know how to double up your money, then that will be risk, you know. So yes, okay, girls, yeah, this is what you need to know. Now, okay, so these are the things that you need to consider in order to make sure that your presentation is good. Number one is the planning part. Number two is the practicing part. Okay. Why do you need to have all of these? Because these are the foundation, right? These are the foundation of your oral presentation. These with these two things, you would know whether or not you are going to achieve a good presentation. Okay, now let's start with the planning part. Now, what do you need to, what are the things that you need to consider? What are the things that you need to think of when you are planning your oral presentation? Number one, you have to know what is the purpose of you having this oral presentation. No, of course, every single thing. I don't want to be religious. I don't want to be Islamic, and I'm not. I am a Muslim, but I don't really. No, I'm not really like a person that should be talking about religion. But this is something that I learned. In Islam, it's all about you have to set your intention, right? And I believe any other religion also say the same thing. You have to set your intention. So same goes like when you are planning for an oral presentation, you have to know what is the purpose. You have to set the intention, right? Set the intention. So that's number one. Number two, you have to know who is the audience. You have to know who is going to watch you, who is going to be, viewing you. In your case and in my class, of course, your audience would be me. But let's take this into a real world situation. Okay? So let's say you never know, you might be the next top speaker, you might be invited to TED Talk, you might be, you know, changing your career from just the engineers and now you want to be, what do you call this again? Politicians. No, when you are a politician, you talk a lot and you talk a lot. You talk in front of people, you talk in public a lot. So you need to know who's your audience. Why? Because I am going to continue after the or else I will not be finishing this slide. Okay. Now what is this topic? Now, number one, you need to know the purpose, correct? Number two, you need to know who is your audience. Number three, you need to know the topic. So in your case, like I said earlier on in the briefing part, you have known your topic since at least week 2 or week 3 of the semester. So it just now after that you progress into refining more, revising more, you understand better in terms of your topic, correct? Next is where. Where are you going to do the presentation? Is it going to be in open space? Is it going to be indoor? Is it going to be at a hall? How is the situation? How is the setup? Okay, next, knowing your content well. So this is very, very important. Why? Because the presentation and you will be making fun of yourself if you do not know what you are going to present. Yes, you have your notes. Yes, you have your flashcards. Yes, you have your scripts. Yes, you have your visual aids. But at the end of the day, people will be focusing their eyes and their attention to you. So how you present yourself, sorry, how do you present your content will definitely influence people. So do you realize that most of the YouTubers, I would say that, okay, not YouTubers, sorry. Let's just use the more common or more generic content, generic terms. Content creator. Why are there content creators that really that really good at attracting people? And why are the content creators that are so meh? Because they really study their content. Because they are really being truthful with their content. When they want to present a certain content, they really did their research. They really did their research. They really understand what they is supposed to say. So that's why. Because at this time around, there are like zillions of content creators, correct? But not everybody not everybody does well for their career of content creating. Okay, right now, what does it mean? What is the content? You have to know what is your content, right? what is the idea, what is the opinion, and then have I included all the relevant information. So this is the part where you have to decide. Then in your case, the team members have to decide, okay, do we want to include this? Do we want to remove this? Do we want to switch? Do we want to swap? That is the part where you have to discuss, because this is a team effort. But if you're alone, then you yourself need to decide, okay, which has to be included, which has not. Now let's take a look at this content, knowing your content well, in terms of stand-up comedian. If you realize, stand-up comedian, they would definitely recycle the same content. But every single time they use the same content, it will have different way of presenting it. This is something that I learned. So there was when I was working in I think when I was working in Segi Subang. Yeah, when I was working in Segi Subang, I got to know this one guy. So this guy, I would say that I don't think he's going to watch. We are out of the radar, from everybody. Me and him, we are not in contact anymore. So yeah, this is mean, but yeah, I would say he wanted to be a stand-up comedy, but he didn't make it. But he's still in the circle of the stand-up comedy. So because of that, I asked him once. I also like, one of the things that I also like, other than listening to podcasts, right? I also like, or I would say I enjoy watching stand-up comedy, but not everybody, certain. So I realized some of the stand-up comedy, always use they always use the same content, the same story. They are recycling their story. So I was curious, and because I know he is doing that, right? He's doing that thing. So I asked, why does stand-up comic recycle their stories? So he answered, well, okay, why singers sing the same song every time they are invited to perform, or for a performance. So it's like, because that song hits, because that song is good, so that's why they present. Okay. So I said, but I and then okay, and then he this is what he answered. So same goes like stand-up comedy. They recycle their stories because they want the story to be better. Every single time they present the story, it will be better. But and then I said, as a person who easily bored, and irritated, so I said, but it's boring. It's boring. Yeah, the presentation will be different. Probably you use different approach, you use different tone, you use different facial expression, but the main story is still the same. So to me, it's boring. So he said that, okay, fine, but why are you not boring listening to song? Because songs is easy and quick. Story is not. So we I didn't say we better lah. It was no bantering or like squabbling or whatnot. It was just like, okay, I still don't like the idea that stand-up comic recycles their stories lah. But according to him, that is the reason why stand-up comic recycle their stories. They want the stories to be better. Every single time they present it, it's going to be better. So what I'm trying to say here is, in terms of the content, in terms of have you included all the relevant information or not. So using the stand-up comic kind of concept or theory, right? So that's how it goes. You need to select the content that works well for you in that particular situation. Okay. And I couldn't remember who I watched that used the same stories. I cannot remember. Yeah. Anyway, never mind. Let's just okay. Analyzing your audience. Okay. So remember, I owed you why is it important for you to know your audience. Why is it important? So now, why do you need to analyze your audience? Okay. What is the background of your audience? Are they educated? What is the reason for listening? How many of them? Okay. Now, Miss, why do we need to know all about this? We're just like presenting. Good. Come on, Miss. I mean, like, we don't want to be creepy, stalking people, what are their background and whatnot. Okay. Are they educated or not? Miss, we cannot look down on people, me. We cannot underestimate people. Correct. But the reason for all of these background checking, like researching, or at least getting to know who your audience will be is because, you know, now, if you are giving a talk at TED Talk, you would know that your attendees or your audience at TED Talk are all the educated ones, you know? And if you are giving a talk at school, you will know that these are all bunch of school people, students. So the reason for you to know who is your audience, are they educated or not, what is the background, why do they have to listen to your presentation, and how many of them, so that you can gauge their attention. Meaning, if your audience are all our akong and our ama, the grandparents age, you cannot use the style, the approach, the language that you use when you are presenting the same content to a university grads or university students. You cannot, because why? Because our akong and our ama will not find it attractive, will not find it interested to them. Okay, so same goes like if you're presenting the same content to kindergarten kids. You need to know how to play around with them so that they be interested in what you are going to say. Okay, so that is the very reason. And whether they are educated or not, because some content is very complicated. Correct, most of the content. Now let's talk about if you are presenting some sort of engineering theory, and if you're presenting that in front of professors, you don't have to decontextualize it into a layman language. Because why? Because all the professors would understand your string theory or whatever not. But if you're presenting a concept of engineering and you want the citizen or the netizen to understand, because not everybody watching you has the engineering background. So how are you going to turn an engineering concept into a day-to-day life situation? So that is the reason why you need to know your audience. So same goes if okay, I am so into this one of content, one of the many content creators in Malaysia lah. He chose to present his because he's a lawyer. It's a he. Okay, he's a lawyer, right? He's a lawyer, and his content is all about the legal things. It's all about the law, the legal thing. So he presents a court issue in a very layman language. So it's easy for everybody to understand, even if you do not have any chambering background or you don't have any law degree, you can understand his explanation. So that is the reason why. That is the very reason why analyzing your audience is important for your presentation. Next, knowing the presentation rule. It could be space, it could be hall, right? Where is the location? Why? Because so that you know how are you going to place yourself. No, what about the lighting? What about the noise? There will be situation where, okay, let's say lah, some of you are going to be engineers at a construction site. So you cannot expect at a construction site it will be very quiet, noiseless. It's impossible, right? Most of the time, construction site will be like super noisy. All the doom dum, doom dum, doom dum. So like hence the reason why you need to know your presentation space or your presentation location. I would say location, because so that you have to adjust your voice, you have to adjust to the environment. You will not get easily distracted when the concrete is like doing the dum dum thingy, that kind of thing. Okay, right? So yeah. Next, knowing the time allotted. Oh, this is very important. If let's say you are given 50 minutes of each presentation, you have to make sure that you finish off your presentation in that 50 minutes. The thing is, if you finish early than what is allotted to you, then it's fine. But most of the time, people would definitely use the time wisely. But if let's say you exceeded the time of presentation, you exceeded the time that allotted to you, you are considered, number one, being disrespectful to the organizer. Number two, you have taken others people's time. So that's not good. Okay? Oh yeah, I forgot. Another examples of presentation, if let's say some of you chose the path to be researchers, chose the path to be lecturers, and one of the KPIs for lecturers would be you need to present your paper, your findings, your research at a conference or congress. So the more reason you need to be very well prepared for your presentation. And during that time, your audience is all these big guns, right? And then there will be also situation where, as far as I'm concerned, one of the professors that that is considered my colleague, she is the person. It's a she, okay? The professor, because I would say she's an anchor lah. She is an anchor in her studies, right? So she is always invited to the ministry, to give, not necessarily to give recommendation or advice, more of like, okay, what would you suggest? What is your opinion? So that is considered also presentation. Okay. So yeah, if you are presenting in front of the ministers, the part that whatever presentation you are nervous, you are so nervous. What more if you need to present uh a paper or like a policy in front of the ministry. Uh, okay. Now, writing the outline of your delivery. So, what are the main ideas? Most of the time, prepare short notes. Okay, what do you need to do? What are the main ideas in order for you to make sure that you don't go off tangent? You need to prepare short notes. Okay, style of delivery. Okay, do I have to be casual? Now, in TED Talk, of course, it's casual. And if you watch like this content creator, they are considered also casual. But if your presentation is your assignment, or it's a university course, then of course it has to be somewhat formal. And in my case, I would want the presentation to be casual casual plus formal. So it cannot be so casual, but it cannot be, because like when you too casual in your presentation, I'm afraid you forgot that you are reporting, you are presenting a report. So, but if I choose to be like 100% formal, then the presentation will be very stiff. So that's why I would say for the presentation, I would want you guys to present, to use a mixture of casual plus formal in the style of delivery. Okay, right? Oh yeah. In case you forgot, so during the presentation, only the presenters should be in class. Okay? Right. Is there a large audience that requires a formal presentation? Well, if you let's say you're talking we're talking about town hall meeting and you are supposed to be the speaker. So that is large audience, right? So when you have large audience, when you are presenting in front of large audience, it's double the difficulty to make sure that your audience is paying attention to you. Yeah, double the difficulty. Okay, now attire. So I think I have told you about the attire in the briefing. Okay, the briefing part. So let's just skip this part. Okay, organizing an oral presentation. Okay, so number one, how do you organize? What are the things? What are the parts that you need to have in the oral presentation? So you need to have the introduction, you need to have the body, and of course you need to have the conclusion. Okay, so this is something that I learned from previous semester during the presentation part. I realized that when this particular member is presenting the introduction part, he or she has the least kicker, or he or she has the least flavor, in the introduction part. So tendency for people to get low marks, tendency for people who present the introduction part to get low mark for me is very high. What do I mean by that? Because most of the time when you introducing your topic, you make the introduction very plain, very boring. So I'm like, alamak, in which supposedly the introduction is the hook, the introduction is the kicker. But most of the time, it's just, people are presenting introduction, you just present introduction. So let me tell you once for all, you're not supposed to present the introduction part in a very plain manner. Why? Because remember, in writing, introduction is the hook. So same goes like oral presentation. The introduction is the hook. The introduction is supposed to be the part where you need to make sure that your audience is going to glue themselves to your presentation, the entire presentation. Okay. Second is the body part. The body part is the body paragraph. So yeah, the hard part of your report, or so in your case, your body, the body of your oral presentation will be the problems and the solutions. Okay. And then, another reason for you to get low marks if you're just reading. Because when you read, and the fact that, some people read with different tones, but most of you guys, when you read during your presentation, it will be monotonous. What does it mean by monotonous? It will be like just one tone, like that. There's no there's no, okay, so basically there's no up and down of your tone. Like a robot, like an AI. If you have watched any AI talks, that is what monotonous is all about. They don't have, even if they are happy, the tone is like they are neutral. Okay, so that's why I hope you can avoid from reading. Okay, reading your scripts. Okay, last one will be conclusion. Okay, conclusion is supposed to be the last kicker, the last kick. Conclusion is supposed to be the part where you convince that this is the problem, is this is the solution, this is what you need to do next. Right? So of course in introduction you need to greet. Okay, let's talk about greeting. If this is something that this is always the thing that I notice from students. Regardless what the time is, students always greet when they are starting their introduction, always greet the audience or yeah, the audience with good morning everyone, even though it's not morning. So like the other day, I received a message from student, and he said, it's a he. Good afternoon, miss. It was 8:44 a.m. in the morning, and he said, good afternoon, miss. I was like, okay. My response was, unless you are not in Malaysia, okay. But unless you're not in Malaysia, but I want you, okay, unless you're not in Malaysia, then probably it's afternoon at your place. But in Malaysia, it's just 8:44 a.m. and it's morning. So, okay, again, I am not making fun of student, but what is the lesson from there? What is the lesson from there is, if you, okay, are not sure with the time of the day, skip that part. You can just start your oral presentation with, hi everyone, so we are here to give a presentation on our report that titled this and this and this. So I am as the presenter, my name is this. So would like to start with our introduction. So that is how I want the presentation to be, you know. You don't have to introduce everybody. No, you just need to introduce yourself, because you are going to be the current speaker. So what are you going to what are you going to present? That's it. Okay. So now, I also would like to inform, tell, and say it now. Don't greet your audience with religious related greetings. For example, Assalamualaikum. I know. 70% of you are Muslims, and you are trying to be really good Muslim. But not everybody who are non-Muslim comfortable being greeted with Assalamualaikum. I know, miss, what we have in Malaysia, la 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 la. That's what I say. Okay, you never know what's the heart say. So as much as possible, I not as much as possible, I would want everybody who is going to have the presentation in my class not to use any religious related greetings. Okay, right? Just use hi. Just with everybody. That's enough. Okay. Right. Next. So this is, I think I've covered up this part. Okay, let's just, make things quick. So presenting your ideas, presenting the body. So you need to have the main ideas, of course. You need to have the supporting details, of course, and evidence. Now, yes, you wrote, or probably you wrote a lot of things in your problems, body paragraph, the problem part, the solution part. So remember the early part of this slide. You have to know, what is the relevant and what is not relevant to be included in your presentation. Okay, so that is for you to decide. Oh, do not forget about transitional markers. I think we also learn about these transitional markers, because this will give the link between one idea to another idea. Okay, so this is an example of transition words. Oh, I have not uploaded these notes. There will be 3 notes for your oral presentation. I will be uploading it. Oh, okay, sorry, sure. By the time you watch, sorry, scrap that early part. By the time you watch this video, the notes have been uploaded in your e-learning. So go and check it out. So go and check them out. Okay. So yeah, for your conclusion, right? For your conclusion, the part where you have to talk about, okay, so basically this is what we have presented, yada yada yada, and this is the final line, or the final statement, or the final script that you are going to have, right? So that this is the end from us, Okay. Now, thanking the audience, of course. Why you need to thank the audience? You are being respectful, because they spend the last, whatever minutes to be with you. Okay, tips for effective delivery. I would say this is for you to read on your own. Okay, I don't want, because I think I have lagged quite a long time and we have two more things to cover. Okay, so that is the first part. Okay. So now let's take a look at the second part. Again, I will try as much as possible to make things simpler for you. So I will not be explaining every single slides. Okay. Now, especially for formal presentation. So this is basically more of what kind of phrases, what kind of language, what kind of expressions that you are recommended to use as a presenters. Okay. So good presenters always use specific language, sometimes single words, sometimes phrases, which shows where they are in their presentations. So these are basically what we call signposts. Okay. Why do we use signposts in our presentation? We are signaling to our audience that we are changing the ideas. We are moving on to the next thing. We are arguing, maybe we are counter arguing, maybe, so that's kind of thing. Okay. So these are the things that I mentioned earlier on. Sorry. Phrases. So greeting, right? So these are the thing. I believe this is something that you can do on your own lah. Okay, just go this quickly, very quickly. Okay. Oh, okay. Starting. Okay. No, you know what? Let's not discuss about this because this is just a list of phrases, phrases and what do you call it again? Phrases and expressions. Okay. Now, even though you're not happy during the presentation for whatever reason, probably because you got dumped or you found out that your partners have cheated on you or something, but make sure, because your audience does not need what you're feeling. Okay. And you're supposed to show on you're supposed to put a show, right? Presentation you consider a show, so smile. Okay, smile. If we do, some of you are probably not familiar with smiling, or you're not accustomed to smile, or because your system does not have the smiling coding. But for the presentation, at least don't do that you want to kill your audience. Okay, at least you have to look neutral lah. If you cannot smile because there's no muscles or no nerves on your face that enable you to smile, okay, fine, no need to smile, but at least a neutral facial expression would do. Okay. Well, because, okay, for the, at least after 5 weeks meeting you face to face, some of you, I remember one of my students this semester, the name is Nakai. So he's from the FKT bunch. So I always, I am not intentionally picking on him, but I noticed Nakai always has this expression that um it's not neutral. It's not neutral. It's like nonchalant kind of thing. It's like, okay. It's like, I don't, okay. This is how I interpreted Nakai's facial expression. And I know Raihan will definitely be smiling, because from my observation, whenever I mention Nakai's name in the class, because of his facial expression, Raihan will be among the first that smiles and sometimes small laugh. Okay, so Nakai has this expression where, okay, gives my interpretation of Nakai's expression during my class is, why do I have to be here? Why do I have to listen to this woman? I know probably that is not what Nakai was thinking during that time, but that's how I interpreted Nakai's facial expression. Okay, and then another facial expressions that I most of the time caught my attention would be Azmi, right? So he's from the FKE bunch, the electric people bunch. So Azmi always, when he's in my class, right, when I am giving my discussion part, I notice Azmi has this expression of deep thought. He is in deep thought. So I'm like, what is he thinking, eh? Like in Malay, I would say like, apa budak ni fikir, eh? But but okay, when we have discussion in terms of, let's say, during his group discussion, so I noticed that Azmi is a person that really, the deep thought expressions align with his way of discussing things. Okay. So he always, have like a different perspectives and different angles when he talks. So yeah. Okay. So I've talked about the FKT people. I've talked about the FKE people. Okay, FKM people. FKM. I think Divash. Yeah, Divash, because he's oh, okay. Other than Divash, Junyang. Oh yeah, Junyang. The guy, Junyang is from FKM. He's very tall. He always he always be my victim to do the switching or whatever. So Junyang, who always has this expression that, trying to tell me that, okay, I think I understand, but I'm not sure whether I understand fully or not. That is how and then like it's always like Junyang always stare emptily or like blankly into the space. So that's, my observation, that is Junyang. Kalau, okay, if it's Devash, right? Devash always, like have this very confident look lah. And then he always like, he always has this what do you call it, gestures in my class. So he's always like, hmm, that kind of thing. So it's very confident, like deep thought, very charm. Okay, I understand this. I got this. I got this. So that is Devash. I am not criticizing you. I am just presenting my observation out of the 5 weeks, watching you listen to my nagging, listen to me explaining things, that kind of thing. So those people who are sitting at the back, I most of the time I do look at you, but I don't really observe you like the people that in front of me lah. Okay, yeah. Okay, now let's continue. Again, Nakai, Divash, Junyang, Junyang, not Junyang, not Junyang, not Junyang. Junyang is the one that always sit at the back, next to Amri. Not Junyang. Okay, who is this guy? Okay, sorry, not Junyang. Okay, not Junyang. Wait, I need to find the guy's name. Wait, because I don't want not Junyang. Okay, the guy that always be my victim to do things would be Chun Xiang. Okay, sorry, Lang Chai. Yeah, Chun Xiang. Okay, so shout out Nakai, Chun Xiang, Divash, and Azmi, right? Um, again, I am not criticizing you. I am not making fun of you. I am just presenting my observation on human beings, slash my students, where their reactions in my class. Okay, if you feel offended, if you feel attacked, I would want you to switch your perspectives. Okay, to switch your perspective. Yeah, don't feel attacked and don't feel offended, because that's not my intention. Okay, right. Now visual aids for oral presentation. So let's talk about the visual aids, your visual aids. Again, FKT people chose poster, correct? And then FKE and FKM, you chose PowerPoint slides. And yes, I remember for FKE people, other than the things that I have discussed in this video, you also might want to consult with Mei Wai so that you know what does it mean by impressive PowerPoint slide. I know my wife like, please, I hate you. I know, but it's fine. Okay. Right, next. Well, okay, when designing a visual for your presentation, remember to number one, make it as simple as possible. If you are doing or if you are creating PowerPoint slide, make sure your PowerPoint slide will not be so cramped up. Oh my God, why? Because students cramped up everything on the PowerPoint slide because they just want to read. Don't cramp up your PowerPoint slides. Don't. I know, miss, but your PowerPoint slide most of the time I cramped up because it's a note. Okay, because it's a note. But most of the time, I don't really refer to the PowerPoint slide. Most of the time, I give my own explanation. I give the content and how you have to understand it. Okay, so use short notes or point form. Do not use long sentences. Miss, what about the posters? Okay, now posters that will be different thing. Okay, you know what? One of the things that you can make your posters even more presentable or even more attractive and interesting, use infographics. Less words, more graphics. Why? Because the words, the explanation part, the elaboration part should come from you. So the posters are just, capture the main parts. The explanation part comes from you. But if your posters have all these long sentences, so what's the need for you to present the poster? Because the poster can speak for itself. I don't want that. I don't want the poster can speak for itself. I want the poster. I want you to speak for the poster. Okay? Provide graphic to help explain your idea, obviously, right? If your PowerPoint slides are just words and words and words, it would not be impressive. Okay? Describe the details in your presentation. Of course, you have to describe that. Step in note making. Read your text carefully, of course. Highlight the key points. Paraphrase. Change the words. Yes. But means whatever that we have. Okay, I hope that part was still okay. Let's just continue. Aisha. Okay. Transfer is a suitable note form. Okay. So basically, what this is trying to say, now you have your report, correct? Your report is a very essay form. How are you going to transfer the essay form into a PowerPoint slides, into just notes? So this is basically what it is. Okay, this is basically what it is. Now, there are different types of graphic organizers to help organize your ideas. So how do you organize your ideas? So you can use outline, you can use timeline, you can use table, you can use flowchart, you can use mind map, you can use tree diagram. So either you are using PowerPoint slide or you are using posters, you can use all these graphic organizers. It's up to you. Okay. It's up to you, meaning here that you need to know which graphic organizer is suitable for your content. So let's say it's outline. What does it mean by outline? Outline means it has to be chronological order. And then outline means you have to use keywords and symbols. Okay? And when you use outline, it will be neat. Okay. So this is an example, right? This is an example of outline. Now, table. What does it mean? Okay, if you are using the table, okay, if you want to use a table, or what kind of content that suits table. So usually when you are, when you have ideas, or when you have information, or when you have things that you need to compare, okay, you need to compare. So, or different categories. So that's why you use table as your graphic organizer. So for example, like this one, the one that you are seeing right now. Okay. So my map. So actually, right, and not actually, frankly, in terms of graphic organizers, I am so much into my map. Yeah, I'm so much into my map. Because why? Because my map will show you the expansion of idea. So that's why I am so into my map. And the expansion is number one. Number two, the fact that, okay, so this connect to this, and this connect to this, and this connect to this. So when you connect from one point to another point to another point, so you see the expansion. So that's why I think my map is one of my favorite graphic organizers. Yeah. So this is an example of my map. So this is what it means by, you started from in the middle, right? And then you branch it out, and then you expand it, expand it, expand it, expand it, expand it. So that's why. So this is a different example of my map. You branch, you have the main, and then you go to branch, you have the smaller branch. Okay. Next, timeline. Now, if you have the intention to use timeline, you have to make sure that your content is pretty much date oriented and event oriented. Why? Timeline is all about, okay, this is what happened first, next, tap, tap, tap. So that is timeline. They should be, okay, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. So that is what you mean by date. And week 1, what happens during week 1, week 2, week 3, so that is, that is the kind of content that is suitable for if you want to use timeline as your graphic organizer. Okay. So basically, it's more of events oriented. And when we talk about events, of course, events has dates. Events have dates, correct? So this is example of a timeline. Right? Now, I'm not saying that you can only use one graphic organizer in your presentation. No, most of the time it will be a mixture of everything. But what is the keyword, or what is the point of this part is basically you cannot just simply use any graphic organizer for whatever information. No, you have to know what is the information, the kind of information. Okay, flowchart. Okay, flowchart usually used to show you are talking about a process. You are talking about a process. Okay, so that is flowchart. So this is, process, right? Process. Tree diagram. Tree diagram usually when you have information that is hierarchical base. It's more of like status and standards. So that is tree diagram. So there is an example of tree diagram. Okay, so using visual aids and effectively, so I believe you can read on your own, and the fact that this is 1 hour already, I know you are not going to watch this video one shot, because it will definitely almost killing you. So yeah, never mind. Remember, visual aids have to be clear, relevant, and effective. So before I end this briefing, make sure everybody has to be present during the time. And if you have any difficulties, or if you want to swap your presentation turn, make sure it's a mutual understanding. Okay, mutual understanding. So I think with that, thank you everyone. Thank you for listening to me, even though you're not going to listen, or even though you're not going to watch this video. at one shot is fine as long as you watch every single thing, because there are so many important things. Okay, what are the things that I miss? Okay, did I miss anything? I don't think so. Okay, so that's all. Thank you guys. Bye.